Hello, everyone. This is Kevin, your entrepreneur, and yes, the beanie's back. It's cold. Okay. Before we get into this video, I normally say this for the end, but I'm going to say it up front. Flame responsibly. The topic I'm about to discuss is not a laughing matter. It is not funny. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you think about people who find themselves in these situations. I don't care. If I start reading comments that are disrespectful about this topic, I will block you permanently from commenting on any future videos, and I will turn the comments off. This is not the time to be idiots and immature. I know by saying that, someone's going to probably just be an idiot and be immature, but I want you to know I'm very serious about this. And we need to talk about getting an Uber ride home. Because here's the thing, folks. Uber and Lyft are great services. Truly, they have done tremendous benefits to us. People don't drive drunk home as much anymore. They can get to the airport without bothering a friend. They have provided some great things we really needed, and these rides come at an affordable price. But folks, and I'm talking not to drivers, but to people who use the Uber and Lyft services. There are people out there who are dedicated to taking advantage of you, and they will do it with Uber and Lyft. Some of the ways they do this include buying Uber stickers or Lyft mustaches on eBay and posing as Lyft and Uber drivers. And if you're drunk enough and you go up to a car and say, "Hey, are you Uber?" All they have to do is, if they decide they want to take advantage of you, they say yes. But they're not Uber or Lyft drivers. They're just posing as such. And if you get in that car, you're in trouble. And you can call the police, you can call a detective, maybe you can even find them, but Uber and Lyft won't be held liable for that. And the way you can most easily avoid this is to call your own Uber or Lyft. What inspired this video, and if this person is watching this, I'm sorry. I really am sorry this happened. And I don't know the full details, but it shook me up enough that I had to make this video. You call your Uber or Lyft yourself. You find out what the car is, you find out who the driver is, you find out what their name is, you find out what they look like. When you go to the car, you ask to you confirm the name. You confirm the license plate if you can. But you do this yourself. You do this yourself. Do not have, unless it's a bartender, don't have anyone else call you an Uber home. Because let me tell you what can happen. I'm not saying this is what will happen. Some people are genuinely nice and they're just trying to get people home. I have been called, and people have called Ubers for girls that they only met that night, and they just said, "Hey, we just need you to take her home because she's drunk and we can't have her driving." And you know what? Good for those men. Good for those men. You are taking care of the ladies. I greatly appreciate it. But here, just as easily as that can happen, so can this. You can ask someone to call you an Uber home, or they will offer to call you an Uber home. And if they're offering to call you an Uber home, I would actually not accept it. I wouldn't, because you never know what they're thinking. But what they might do is, instead of calling an Uber, they'll call a buddy, and this is a scheme. And they'll have a buddy pull up and, basically pose as an Uber or a Lyft driver. And you'll get in the car. What happens after you get in the car? I don't know. A million different things can happen. Just, it's a terrible, terrible situation to be in. If they say they're calling you an Uber and they call someone on the phone, they're not calling an Uber. Uber doesn't work that way. It works with an app. If someone offers to call you an Uber home and you need it, respectfully request that you can look at the phone so you can see them do the process and find out what car you're looking for and what the driver's name is. You must have a way to do this. And don't get into any cars that are not confirmed. And people wonder, like, sometimes they get annoyed with me when they come to the car and I say, "What's the name on the account?" And they're like, "Well, I want an Uber." It's like, yeah, but it bothers me that people be so willing to just jump into another person's car. See, this is one of the regulation things that the taxi industry has admittingly had over Uber and Lyft, and I don't know how to regulate it when people are using their own personal cars. When you got into a taxi cab, it was very likely that person was employed. You didn't see too many people driving around taxi cars that didn't have a license to do so. Not saying nothing happened with the taxis, but less of a chance. The problem with Uber and Lyft, of course, is that they're regular cars. They could be any car, and as long as they have the sticker or the glow stick um, light or the new amp, which by the way, Lyft I still haven't gotten yet. They could be anyone, and people have been using this to take advantage of people. And I had what brought this on was I had a friend who on Facebook asked, "Does someone have the phone numbers for Uber and Lyft? I really need to talk to them about something important." Well, I do have phone numbers for Uber and Lyft. Not many people have them, and no, I can't give them out to you because they don't want those numbers out there. They don't want it to be public knowledge. Basically, those numbers are for people like me who have extreme grievances who need to get a hold of someone right away. And it's largely because of this channel that I have those numbers. So I contacted her and I said, "Well, I have numbers, but what is this about? Because I can't just give them out to anyone." And that's when she told me what happened. Um, Sorry. Uh, I'm not going to tell you what happened. You can probably imagine what happened. Thankfully, she's still alive. But um, and it was terrible. And unfortunately, while Uber and Lyft does a great service, while you can get home safely, there are people who will take advantage of you who don't want you to get home safely. They want you and they want to take advantage of you. And you can't let that happen. And unfortunately, some people get so drunk, maybe it's just inevitable that this is going to happen. But for those of you who are sober enough, call your own Uber and Lyft. Do not let anyone offer you to call your Uber or Lyft home. If you need them to do that, strongly, strongly, strongly request that you look at their phone and you see them do the request process so that you can see what car you're waiting for and who your driver is that you need to wait for. If they will not let you do that, do not accept the ride. Do not accept the ride. Just don't do it. And if at all possible, go home with a friend. Don't go home alone if you can help it. And that's mainly for women because guys tend to be a little stronger. They're less likely to get taken advantage of, but women, unfortunately, the women get taken advantage of all the time by people who are not Uber drivers, who are not Lyft drivers, are just posing. But they know that, you know what, at this time people are getting out of their bars, they're drunk, they're wasted, they want to go home, they want an Uber. Sometimes they've even called an Uber, but they're not paying much attention to what Uber they're getting. And if they walk up, they say, "Hey, are you my Uber or are you Uber?" All they have to do is say yes. They get in the car and you're theirs. You're theirs. And there's nothing you can do about it short of escaping before anything too bad happens. It's not a game, folks. It's not a game. Um, Much like you got to be careful about who you meet up with when you talk to someone on eHarmony. You got to be careful about whose car you get into with Uber and Lyft. And I know sometimes it's not easy to keep your wits about you when you're drinking, but it's not a laughing matter. Be very, very careful out there, folks. Be very careful out there, ladies. Guys are out there to take advantage of you, and if you let them, they will. It's like, call your own Uber. Don't let anyone else call the Uber for you. If you have to have them call you an Uber, Make sure you can view them doing the transaction on their phone so that you know what car and driver to look for. And if possible, go home with a friend. Go home with a friend. Do these things. Stay safe out there. I I mean, every time I pick someone up, I promise you I will get you home safe. That is my job. It's my responsibility, and trust me, I take that job very, very seriously. Other people, they're not so noble. So you have to watch out for those people and just be careful. So, well, anyway, that's that. I want to stress again, don't leave any crude comments. You will be blocked, and if there are too many, the comments will simply be disabled for this video. I don't want to hear about Donald Trump. I don't want to hear about the stupid hat or how I fix my hair or, hey, do you still have a job as DoorDash after that rant you did about against the restaurant? I don't want to hear about any of it. I don't. If you have a story to share advice on how you also think you can avoid getting assaulted by someone who's posing as an Uber driver. Share that information. That's way more helpful. So, just giving you that heads up. Yeah, be safe out there.